Okay, I'm just going to knock out a real quick kind of the instant reaction video here. Vikings lose 30-23 to the Rams. This is pretty much the season. And I think that's going to lead to his firing. Our percentage chances of our percentage chances of making the playoffs now are somewhere in the teens, depending on what site, I guess. We obviously got to win out and get a whole bunch of help that we're not going to get. I mean, I think even the odds of even going into the last week still alive are basically nil. Very, very disappointing. I like, maybe I'm the fool. Like, I really thought they were gonna, like, I saw how bad they were on offense. The offensive game plan and everything against Chicago. I thought they were going to come out with something different. They really didn't. No Dalvin Cook, but they force-fed Madison even when it made no sense to. And Aaron Donald spent as much time in the Vikings backfield as Kirk Cousins did today. Screwed up the passing game, put us in a lot of, it seemed like we were constantly running on the first down, and then we were like 2nd and 12, 2nd and 13 the whole fucking game. Just terrible play calls. I don't understand what happened to the idea of like the mid-range passing game. It just goes away. Like we'll have a 3rd and 5 and the play call will be a 40-yard pass or something. Like, it's okay, it'd be great if you hit it, but let's move the chains. We don't seem to be preoccupied with that. And and then when we finally did start to open up the playbook to have like the 10-yard, the 15-yard passes. That was that drive. We went right down the field and got back in the game. But by then it was really too little, too late. We got a couple calls that fucked us. That one where they said the guy's forward progress was stopped. It wasn't stopped. He's still fucking running forward and he fumbles the ball. That could have been a huge play. That might have even been a fumble return touchdown. We didn't get it. There were a couple other calls that pissed me off. The punt return, I guess maybe there was a block in the back. But, defense was about what you'd expect. Like, Matthew Stafford was a fucking joke. I mean, he threw 2 picks. He could have thrown about 6. But none of our guys can fucking catch for some reason except for Anthony Barr. We drop a fucking pick and we dropped one in the end zone. We dropped one first drive of the game. It's so fucking frustrating. We get these chances and we just can't capitalize for whatever reason, whether it's coaching or just a guy can't make a play. Like, I know the guys are playing defensive back, they're not wide receivers, but of course we drop KJ Osborne drops a fucking people blame it on Kirk, but Kirk puts a ball right on KJ Osborne's hands in the front of the end zone, and he can't fucking bring it in, bounces up, it gets picked, and we don't even get any points out of that shit. Any of these points, like we ended up losing by 7, another 1-score game. Any of these things go the other way, we either deny a score or pick up a score, and maybe we're sitting at 8-7 and still in pretty decent playoff position instead of being 7-8 and basically fucked. I'm so glad Klint Kubiak is gone. The one silver lining of this season basically being almost mathematically over is Klint Kubiak will be gone. I don't ever want to see someone with the last name Kubiak involved with the Minnesota Vikings again. I'm so fucking I hate him more than any assistant coach in the history of the Vikings. And I've been following the Vikings for over 30 years. Kirk, the Kirk derangement syndrome people, they'll do what they do. Like, Kirk was much, much better today than he was those last 2 games. He made some excellent throws. The pick wasn't on him. Like, he took a sack or 2 that maybe he didn't need to take. It's like, he ain't perfect. I'm sorry, he ain't perfect. But if all you do is swap the quarterbacks who played in this game, the Rams win by 30. It's so frustrating. It's just been coaching malpractice all year with this offense. You would assume that the Vikings are going to probably hire an offensive coach to replace Zimmer, assuming Zimmer's gone, which this almost assures, I think. But whatever name that ends up being, they got to be drooling at the idea of getting a hold of this offensive personnel. Plus Irv Smith coming back. Like, there's so many weapons, really good quarterback. you know, you got at least a couple of pieces on the offensive line. I mean, I'm not going to even pretend that the interior is what it needs to be, but of course Bradbury's not going to be probably not going to be here next year, no matter who the coach is. But you know, we had a chance. We had a couple chances. You know, Stafford threw the one pick, and we get the quickest touchdown ever, a 2-yard touchdown. Then we had a shot, and we go 3 and out, or it might have been 4 and out. We might have gotten 1 first down, and then we give up the punt return. Like, of all things, now you're going to give up a punt return touchdown to just completely sap your momentum. You know, one thing you had to do was force the issue and make Stafford have to throw, and you really kind of made it easy for him in the second half. People talk about Sean McVay as being the genius of the world all they want. I mean, why the fuck was he not just running down our throats the whole game when Stafford's throwing the ball like an idiot? I don't know. This was just a quickie video. I'll probably do something else later. I just wanted to get something out. So yeah, very disappointing. This is probably the season. This is probably the Zimmer era. But they deserve it. I mean, I'm sorry, you can't. You know, you're playing a good team. They gave you chances. You didn't take advantage, and you didn't. And your very bad coaching, especially on offense, gave you no margin for error. And so we sit at 7-8 with 2 games to go. You know, we're not going to be eliminated this week, but you know, I guess we got to hope. You know, there's a couple things that can go our way this week. Like, I've been kind of just clinging to hopes that we can maybe go into that final game and have like a de facto playoff game at the bank, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think we're probably going to be knocked out. As bad as this gets, we're probably going to be knocked out in Lambeau Field by our hated rival. Merry fucking Christmas.